Hey everyone. So I think for today we're going to play with some kind of Boolean operations in Grasshopper and some intra lattice that you can download for free on foodforrhino.com. So let's just get started. So I'm going to just bring up our perspective view there, bring up some Grasshopper. And what we'll do is start off with a sphere. Type in 15 for its radius. And what we're going to do is just populate this out with points, and then we're going to keep redoing the populate over 3 different times or 2 different times. I'm just going to copy and paste that down. We're going to put those spheres onto the populate geometry there, and so that's quite a bit. So what we'll do is kind of tone that down to maybe 5 different points on there. And then for this set of spheres that we have on our initial sphere, I'm just going to type in join mesh. And what I'm trying to do there is add a little bit of randomness to the next set of populated points. And then what we'll do next is bring those populated points onto here. We can bring that count down as well. Just bring that to 25. I'm going to hide all this stuff. And then just add a little bit more variety. I'm going to type in jitter. And for jitter, we'll need a range. The number of points goes in here. We're going to construct a domain. And we'll give it a high radius and a low radius. 15 is probably a little bit big for this, so bring that down. Bring that up to here. Just like that, just like that. Plug it into our domain, plug that into the jitter, plug that into the sphere. That's looking pretty good. Then let's go up to the intersect. We're going to do a Boolean difference. So A minus B, so our initial sphere to the last set of spheres there. See what the result starts to get us. Okay, so it's going to be something like this. One thing I might do is take the second set of spheres there. I'm just going to lower it down so we can kind of dissect out the initial sphere quite a bit. We're just bringing the density in further and further. That's looking pretty interesting. Let's bring up the number of points there. So instead of 25, let's bring it up even higher. Something like that. And let's play with the radiuses over here. Make it quite a bit bigger. It's looking pretty interesting. Let's bring up that second radius on our jitter. Really what we're trying to do is just kind of distort the initial sphere that we had, so we can just have kind of a design B-rep starting to happen there. I think that's looking pretty cool. Alright, let's go over to intra-lattice. And what we'll need is a cell. And what we're going to do is go down to uniform DS. DS is for design space, I believe. Design space, yep. And we're going to plug that into our Boolean difference. Hide out the Boolean difference. We'll give it a topo. And then for this particular plug, it works with cell size rather than number of cells. So what we can do is just type in, let's say, 10 point. Let's do, yeah, just 10, I guess. I think 10 is probably pretty big since our initial radius was 15. Yeah, it's really big. So you'll notice that it's going to start generating cells that are inside our B-rep. So if we kind of click through, you'll see these ones are rather large. So if we bring down our cell size, obviously you'll see it kind of defining the space of that B-rep that we created earlier. So if we bring it even lower, you'll notice that your computer's going to start kind of slowing down quite a bit. So be a little bit cautious on how far you go down, because you might have a long wait time, because it's basically calculating what's inside our B-rep and what's not inside. So a lot of splitting of curves and kind of just figuring out inside and outside. There we go. That's looking actually pretty cool already. I'm gonna hide this for now. Vin tiles is the one I'm going with, I guess. I'm just gonna bring this down to like, I don't know, 2.5. We'll give it a second to load up. All right, that took a little teeny bit to load up. So, you know, like I said, be a little bit cautious when you lower the button there, or the number slider. This is looking pretty good. So from here, I'm just gonna add a little bit of geometry to it. So we'll type in pipe, mesh pipe. And for segments, before we even plug anything in, since there's a lot of curves in here, I'm going to just turn the segments to 3, 0 for the end cap, so it'll be just open. And then the radius we'll do like something small, because I think by default it's relatively high. Yeah, it's at 5. Plug that into here. I'm just going to join all the meshes together. Beforehand, we'll hide this. We can plug it into our struts there. That's looking pretty good. All right, I might bring that radius quite a bit smaller. Looks pretty good. And then just add a little bit of randomness in here. I think I might just do an extend curve. We'll need to flatten out that list. And let's just do like 1. We'll play with how far it goes out. That way we'll get some kind of variety starting to pass through here. So let's plug that into our mesh pipe. Oop. Yeah, and so sometimes when you do extend and curve, you'll notice what we're getting a bad mesh in there, so that flickering. And so a lot of times you can use simplify curve. That'll basically take away any unnecessary points within each one of those curve sets. That should clear it all up. That's looking pretty good. I'm going to bring down the extend just so it's barely there. I just want a little bit of randomness starting to kind of filter through there. And what I might do is type in bounding box, type in volume. Let's do a little force perspective here. I'm going to do a scale of all the meshes there based on this center. Let's do a series. Let's see here. Let's start off with 1. Do like, I don't know, 5 maybe. And let's do negative numbers. Basically, we'll just be adding quite a bit more detail everywhere. Right. Bring that in. There we go. So it'll almost look like a blurry image within all this straight geometry. I think it'll look pretty interesting. Let's add in more. See how far we can get. So it's almost like a zoom in force perspective. I think that's going to look pretty cool. Let's see what that looks like rendered. Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's pretty exciting. All right, one thing I might do is let's throw in actually, we'll just play with what we got. So I'm going to just join every other one. So we can add a little bit of, we'll see how it looks later, but I want to be able to change materials if we need to. So let's just make that a, I don't know, concrete maybe. Maybe not concrete. Maybe a stone one. I want to be able to see it still. There we go. And then, I don't know, steel maybe? I have this set up for Enscape, that's why it's acting the way it is. Okay, so that's black. Still getting this cool same effect. We'll go to Arctic mode. Still pretty cool. Wonder if we mirror it onto itself maybe a bit. Wonder which view actually will render out that looks the, I guess, the coolest for ourselves. Should we rotate it? Something like that. That could look pretty cool. If we mirror it one more time, about this direction. Kind of like ghostly figures in here. If we do it the other way. This could look pretty interesting. Or is it better this way? Well, man, it's kind of up to you guys to figure that out. So I might just rotate it this way. And let's mirror it on itself here. It's kind of weird because I feel like the heavy part wants to be upwards, maybe. If we rotate it again. Now we're all out of plane. That's fine. Or if we mirror it heavy on heavy, or the more dense on more dense. That's starting to look cool. Do it one more time, maybe. There we go. I think that's definitely our shape. Okay, what if we just rotate the whole thing all over on itself? It's actually kind of like that. It's a little dirty looking. Yeah, we'll go with that. Okay, and then what I'm going to do, and did we, I might have made a mistake there. No, I didn't. There we go. We'll join in all the materials, or the two separate materials together, so we can keep it just down to two meshes. Okay, then as usual, let's start to create our landscape there. Type in bounding box. I'm going to lock down our models, delete that, or explode that out. And the landscape for today, we'll rebuild this out. Let's make it a little bit bigger than that. I might rebuild it just a little bit more. Let's do 55 by 55. Okay, let's turn our points on. Let's do maybe kind of an island thing. I might not take in these points. Okay, bring that up. We'll smooth it just like that. And I'm going to just tap Alt using the gumball, scale in one direction. This will be a grass layer. Okay, this will be our sand. Okay, I'm going to take both those, kind of scale 1D both. Let's bring up the grass just a bit. There we go. Let's add some water. Okay, bring that a little bit higher. Just like that. Change that to water. Okay, let's unlock our model. Make sure we have this scaled nicely. Where do we want it to sit? Let's check our view. I'm going to bring it all lower. Get the most out of our model as usual. I think our view's something like that. Where do we want the model to actually sit? So the view's something right in there. Let's have it kind of cradle the water in that little pocket. Okay, let's check it out one more time. Bring it a little bit lower, all the landscape there. So I think any view will look pretty nice within here. Actually, we're going to rotate it all. So I think our view is actually here. Sit it right in that pocket. That way we can either take a view from here or land side. See that real quick. I think our view looks actually pretty sweet right there. Have it really centered on the water there. Bring it a little bit lower just one more time. Awesome. And we'll head over to Lumion next. Alright, so here we are in Lumion. We'll start to add some materials through here. I think this might be kind of a tropical scene since we're on an island there. So let's add some grass. Let that load up. Ooh, that's perfect. So it's nice and scattered through there. Let's get the sand running. Do some soil, sand. Looks good. Kind of want to lighten up the color just a bit. Make kind of a whiter sand. Water looks great. Awesome. And then for our meshes here, we'll do the first one, some sort of stone. Let's do tiles maybe. And then let's see here. Why don't we do some sort of metal? It's looking pretty cool. Might look a little bit too busy. Let's try something else. Maybe a glass, potentially. Let's see. Otherwise, we'll just keep it all the same material. I might blend a little bit too much in with the sky. Let's change it out one more time. What other tiles do they have? I want to try to get some texture in there. It's not all just the same. But if it is the same, that's fine too. So let's just add some landscaping throughout here. Let's go tropical. They have some kind of low coverage through here. Low cluster. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Okay, I'm just gonna kind of bring it around the model here. Just kind of pockets of it. Out in the distance there. Let's get on the other side of the model. We'll do these by hand, and then we'll use kind of the cluster thing afterwards. Okay, and then we'll just go to cluster for background stuff. want it to look too empty. Okay, come out here. Get this kind of clustered out. I don't even know if we'll be able to see this, but it's totally fine. Okay, we'll do a couple through here. Awesome. Sure, let's do some palm leaves everywhere, potentially. If it shows up, it does. Good. Bring it out to the water. Get some in here as well. Let's add some kind of nice variety of color to the landscape here. And then I wonder if we have kind of a mid-size palm. Let's do these by hand. I don't know how big they are. Just do a couple of those. Get a couple in here. And let's bring on the bigger palms. Cool. Let's see. Get some out here, some in the background. Again, I'm not even sure if we'll be able to see these. That's fine. And let's get some, maybe some grass kind of hitting on the surface down here. Get some out towards the water. Okay. Do some through here. And let's see. Do some leaves. Just get a few in here as well. Awesome. Let's get some birds flying, seagulls. Zoom into our scene here. That's looking pretty good already. And let's get a person, maybe just walking in the water. Ooh, it's big. Okay. Structure is a lot bigger. Let's see what we're getting for a rendering. Let's try a realistic, maybe, for the first kind of iteration of this. Try to pick a good view and bring out our focal length. I don't know if we do an angled view or if we should do kind of a dead-on view. Dead-on might be the best. Bring out the focal length even more then. Get more of the landscape starting to come in. Yeah, I think this might be good view with some better lighting in there. Might delete out some palms. That's looking pretty good to me. Let's try to get a little bit better lighting. There, we almost had it. There we go. Maybe we should do a little bit angled. Save that out. I'm going to put some fog in there so we don't see too much of the background. Bring in that fog density through there. Not quite that much. Bring up the fall off. Need to add some plants down at the water's edge down there. Let's add in camera. Let's do 2-point. Make sure that's on. Looks pretty sweet. Maybe a view over here would be better. Not quite sure. Starts to really distort everything, which is kind of what we were looking for anyway. So I'll save this. Let's do a little bit of cleanup on the plants. I want to take out this one. Delete that one. Okay, we're going to add more tropical plants into the background. Let's zoom over there. Right in here. Put some in here as well. Let's go back to our view. That's looking pretty good. What happens if we turn off that fog? And then let's play with our real skies one more time. Let's see. What if we go a little bit brighter? Actually, what if we do, instead of realistic, why don't we do daytime maybe? I don't like that. Let's try a dawn shot. That doesn't look like dawn. That's not good. Let's try this maybe. Morning. Morning looks better. It's not perfect though. Want some kind of some excitement in the sky. Well, maybe we make our own. So let's turn off our real sky. Let's put a sun in there. Okay, let's get some clouds. Cloud amount. up in there. Looking better. Let's play with our sun. Drop that way down. That's looking quite a bit better. Okay, we'll try to get some nice highlights on our model. If we bring it all the way up, there we go. That's looking pretty good. Okay, I'm just gonna, just to try it, I want to see what this looks like with a metal material, I guess. Give it a second to load up there. Go to various, aged, bronze maybe. Gets to be a little bit too dark. Yeah, let's go back. Keep it where it's at. That's looking pretty good. Let's see what it looks like rendered or fully rendered out. A lot of geometry going into this, so I think it's looking pretty nice. Probably have to just add a few more plants in here. Just kind of cover up some spots there. Actually quite like the view angle. I want to try one where it's dead on one more time. But other than that, I think we'll be all set for Photoshop with a few different alterations with this. Alright, so all I did was just add a few more plants through here, kind of cover up the grass because it looked a little desolate. I did notice after I finished, I probably should have added some through here, but we'll just kind of work with what we have. And so what I'll do first is let's just do a Control J, duplicate the layer out. I'm going to do an auto tune, just so I actually kind of like that, and then do an auto color. Not the biggest fan of that. And then I'm just going to use the burn and dodge tool, just kind of highlight some of the geometry that we have here. Bring out some of that green. Make sure it's extra tropical there. Okay. Kind of wish I would have made the water a little bit more blue. That's fine. That looks pretty good to me there. I'm gonna do an auto color one more time. And then we duplicated the layer out, so what I'm going to do is just drop it down to about 50-50 right there, just to kind of merge the colors together a little bit more. It's awfully green. And then I'm going to do a duplicate layer again. We're going to go up to filter, go to filter gallery. We're going to use the diffuse glow just to highlight some of these areas within the design here. We'll hit OK. And then what I'm going to do is just erase everywhere in the cloud so it doesn't look too distorted. But these areas I particularly like. Okay. That's looking pretty good. It looks distorted because the geometry is so filled, so That's a good thing. That's what we were hoping for. Okay, and then I'm just going to go back through and kind of just highlight some more areas through there. Just like that. I think that's looking pretty good. Wonder what happens if we kind of desaturate it just a bit. Kind of like it in there. Okay, and then let's go up to adjustments, brightness, contrast. I just bring up the contrast just a bit. Awesome. And then we'll do our typical vignettes around the edges. Use a brush tool. Just like that. So thanks for watching. If you made it this far, please like and subscribe. And I will be talking with you all really soon.